Alright boys, so in today's video we're going to be covering weapons, because weapons are really important, right? They go on your character and they affect the stats, they have extra effects like this one for example, and so on and so forth. So what I want to start with is that for the most part you won't be looking at weapons first and then seeing, oh, what character can I apply this to, right? Unless you have a really good weapon and you really want to use it. But for the most part, you'll go on a character, right? Let's say I'm on Venti right now. I'll go on weapons and I'll look, oh, which bow fits his kit, okay? So his kit is just spamming his skills for the most part. So I think this bow is really good. It also gives elemental mastery, which, I'd say I didn't know what elemental mastery is. I go in details and I see elemental mastery. Oh, it increases my elemental combo damage, right? So my swirl is doing 111% more damage, right? So that's insane. Now, if I go on someone that doesn't have any elemental mastery, the swirl will only do 7.9, right? I'm just saying it's all these as well, but I'm just saying swirl now because everyone knows what swirl is. So increase your elemental combo damage by a lot, right? And he's all about comboing, right? That's what the wind, the animo type is all about. Now, that's why I think this bow is great for him, okay? But not everyone has Venti, of course, right? Let's go over more obtainable character, right? Let's go to Noelle. Noelle, ignore her weapon. I am planning on doing something with this anyway. So when I think about her, I'm like, okay, she always has a shield on, and she is pretty much a tank with Geo, right? She gets crystallized as well. She just wants to do big hits, right? Doesn't really do much with skill damage, doesn't really do much elemental damage. It's just raw damage and having a shield up, right? So what I'm thinking, I'm looking at my weapons, I'm like, okay, I want something that can support that. Either just gives me raw damage, right? So like this one, after using an elemental skill, normal or charge attack, deal an additional 120% attack within a small radius on hit, okay? Every 15 seconds, an effect lasts 15 seconds, and the damage can only occur once every 3 seconds, okay? Which is really good, okay? I think this is a great weapon for her, gives her attack as well. But then I look and I'm like, okay, what about this one? Charge attacks and normal charge attacks increase attack by 6%. Max for stacks can only occur once every 0.5 seconds. I'm like, it's alright, you know, physical damage bonus actually good on her, but I'm not too big of a fan of the weapon. Yeah, go down. Restoring, nah, we don't really care. Pyro Electro, that's not what she does. Go this one. When HP falls below 7%, increase charge attack damage by 30%, and charge attacks become harder to interrupt. I'm thinking, oh, that's pretty good, gives HP as well. She's a tank. This weapon might work really well on her. And then I refine it, and it's gonna be an even crazier increase, and it's good, right? But then, okay, I'm like, oh, I've spent money, Lamau, I have this weapon. Taking damage generates a shield, which absorbs damage up to 20% of max HP. The shield lasts for 10 seconds or until broken, and can only be triggered at once every 45 seconds. Right, and then the important part is, while protected by the shield, the character gains 12% increased damage, which is really good on her. She wants to be a tank, right? But all the other weapons are just as good, if not better, okay? Like this weapon might just be better for her, because you can just sit below half HP or 70%, whatever the threshold will be, and then just have your shield up. So you can think about it, and there's a lot of different options you can do for your characters, right? Now for bow users, it's very specific what you want to have, and it's for the most part either weak spot damage or elemental mastery, because bows accelerate at combining elements with other, okay? So hers on official, I have increases damage against weak spots by 48%, okay? With crit damage, although she has no crit. Also, my artifacts on her are all over the place right now because I don't really care. He's the only one with artifacts right now for me, and even that set is not the one I want. Kind of an EX right now. So anyway, but for both, you want charged attack bonus, right? Or elemental mastery, okay? Because bows are there to are like catalyst for your other elements, okay? And bow users are usually your secondary DPS, okay? Most of the time, they're not going to be your main DPS, right? So if I look at this one, crit hits have a 6% chance to generate a small amount of elemental particles, which will regenerate 6 energy for the character, blah blah blah, right? So pretty much you can just spam ultimate with this one, and energy recharge as well. It's pretty good, right? It's definitely a contender for like one of the best bows for Venti, for example, or even Amber, because her ultimate is her only good skill. You could run this, right, if you wanted to. Obviously, I don't know why I just wanted to mention that it has base attack. Every weapon has base attack, but yeah, so you could run this on her as well. But if that's on the more like element, like you don't care about damage if you have this one, okay? But the thing is, what I don't like, you need crit hits, okay? So you need to build your character on crit, but at the same time, don't really build on crit damage, because all you want to do is just spam your ultimate. So that's why I don't think this is a good weapon in general, okay? So I don't think this is a good weapon for anyone, right? Venti, like I said, can use this if you give him crit, because he's Animo type, and Animo type really only wants to combine elements. It doesn't really care about individual damage, but it's still nice to have individual damage, right? Okay. And then this bow, like I said, really good. It increases your skill damage and your burst damage, and also gives you elemental mastery, so what bow users excel at, which is combining elements. And because you can pinpoint enemies you want to hit with a different element. And this one's just raw damage, weak spot increase damage, boom. This one is a what I want to call it, like a close range bow, okay? You just want to be close range, because if you're close range, and they probably want you to do this attack, right? They don't want you to like stand there and do this. They want you to do this one and then just be really close to the enemy. But even if you do this, right, and you get close to the enemy and you shoot them, that's probably good too for this weapon. But let me go back to Ember weapons. Boom. You want this on a bow user that you really don't care for the element for, which I don't think there is one yet. Okay, maybe in the future you can have like a no element raw damage bow user, okay? Maybe this actually works really well because it gives you crit rate as well, so you can do a crazy build with it. I wouldn't know. I think this is a pretty cool bow, right? If this game, the resources weren't so limited, I would definitely try it. But for the most part, well, maybe you think it's a cool bow, you can try it out. Like I said, don't discredit 3 stars just because you're like, oh, it's a 3 star, right? I don't like the way it has to be bad, right? It can't be good, it's a 3 star. No, if it's a 3 star, it can still be really good, okay? Like, this is also a really good bow. This is the same thing I was talking about with like matching your element to your weapon, right? With Razor, for example, you know, I have this sword for him because he will do electro damage, a lot of it, right? And it gives you elemental mastery as well, so when you combine it, really good, excellent weapon, right? So a different example is Barbara, for example, right? She heals, and her heals scale off her attack. And well, I said Barbara, it's Chi-Chi, sorry. So her heals scale off her attack and her doing damage. So you want a sword that can give her a lot of that, right? Which is why this 3-star sword, by the way, 3-star sword is really good for her because it increases her damage by enemies affected by cryo, which is what she will be applying on everyone with her skill, by 24%. And then in addition to increasing it by 24%, that means you're doing more damage. That means her normal charge attacks will do more damage, so she will regenerate more HP for all party members, right? And it's scaling based on the Chi-Chi's attack, and it does cryo damage. That's why you want this sword, for example. There's no better sword for this, okay? For her, I think this is the best sword. Maybe you could argue this one. After damaging an opponent with an elemental skill, the skill has a 40% chance to end its own cooldown. It goes up to 80%, I believe. You can, like, that's an option as well for her. But I'd have to think, okay? So instead of just looking at what 4 stars you have and not really caring about the 3-star, only going about like, okay, I just want damage, right? You don't want that. Like, for example, I don't want this one because, like, what's the point of this one? Okay, but for her, right, this is a great weapon. This is a phenomenal weapon, by the way. I'm just saying for her specifically, right? I want this one because it just works really well with her kit. Okay, it doesn't matter what rarity it is, right? I don't want to use this one, even though it would increase her damage by a lot as well, because I believe this one will be better. Although I will be using this one for the most part for her, by the way, but because I can't enhance it right now and resources are limited in this game because the resin system is awful. So anyway, but this weapon's great for her, okay? You may not have this weapon, or you may not have this weapon, or you actually 100% have this weapon, but you may not have this weapon, right? Which is like not her element, but like you get the point, okay? If I go on Lisa, I don't want to give her a weapon that, oh, it's a 5-star, right? Let's say, but it doesn't work with the kit at all. You want to go for the weapon that works with their kit and works with their stat and their stat spread and what they want, okay? Now, for example, for Lisa, because I actually do not know, defeating an enemy gives movement attack. That's not really that good for her. Upon causing the evaporate, electric charge, frozen or hydro, this is really good for her, okay? Because book users is excellent at spreading their element, because whenever they attack, they'll spread it, right? They'll apply their effect. It's not like sword users that only do it on the skill or on their ultimate or in like some different scenarios. They always do it, okay? So this one would be great for her, okay? And I would use this one over this one because I think it would make more sense for her. And it's different books as well. Like I said, there's this book. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned it. I've re-recorded this video like 8 times now, so I don't know if I mentioned it. But for Barbara, for example, I'm gonna assume I mentioned it though. I'm just gonna really quick. Again, gives her HP, her healing scales of her HP, and then her whole the whole playstyle first. You switch into her. You use the healing skill and you switch up to the character you want to heal. And with this 3-star book, okay, I'm not using the 5-star one because I don't like the 5-star one. It doesn't really work with any of my units kits. With this 3-star one, I heal them and I give them 50% attack for 10 seconds, which is insane. So yeah, for the most part, what I just want to make sure you got out of this video is do not ignore 3-star weapons, and don't just give them the weapons that you think are good for the main stat, right? You're like, okay, oh, this is a 5-star, is a 4-star, has a better base stat, right? Look at 1, the substat, look at 3, the effect, and the effect is most of the time the most important one to look at, okay? So I hope this helped. If you have any like specific questions for characters, like you're like, I don't know what weapon I want to use for him, that I have, then follow me on Twitter, it's in the description. And then in addition to follow me on Twitter, tweet me your weapons for that character, and then I can help you if you want me to. Okay, there's a lot of weapons in this game. I have summoned a whole lot and I don't have half of them, okay? So you probably have a lot of weapons I don't even know about, so definitely do send me that screenshot. If you ask me in the comments, it's probably going to be a lot harder for me, okay? If you don't have Twitter, go make one. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. Pretty much, like I said, match your characters with weapons. Don't match the weapon with characters, okay? Unless there's one you really like. You just pulled that 5-star book and you're like, oh, I really want to use it, man. It's a 5-star book. Then yeah, you can go and see what character you could match it to. But for the most part, it's the other way around. You want to match the character with a weapon. So you want to look at the character, see what he does, right? Look at his talents, be like, okay, this probably makes more sense. And then you look and you check and you think and then you do, okay? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Good job.